presented by Memphis Shades, the clear choice for custom windshields and fairings for your motorcycle. And Wild Ass Seats, stay in the saddle longer and in total comfort no matter your butt or budget.
So it occurred to me
No.
that there may be riding conditions that people do and don't ride in.
Sure.
And I guess the first one that comes to mind is wind.
Wind. Nappy does not
Nappy,
like the wind.
Do you have any way? Can you weigh in on riding in the wind?
It sucks.
So, I'm just asking this question because I really want Dave and Dustin to be fully aware and also to be forewarned that if it's very windy, Nappy might call and say that she can't make it
You
because
guys are such dicks.
too windy for her to ride.
What's her fucking problem? What's the issue?
The problem is I need to get my fucking windshield from Memphis Shades.
So calling me a dick is nothing new, just so you know.
I know, I've never actually called you a dick before,
bought
and it's
that
official
touring
now.
bike.
You're all
It is
dicks.
official.
Oh my God! How many months did that take her to come to that fucking conclusion? Jeez!
Man, I could have told you that the very first day.
God damn! I thought you were an engineer.
Especially Tony. Tony's the major dick now because he's the one that had to have brought this on. That caused Ryan to bring it up.
I was like, this is it.
He's the only one that was there that would have brought it up.
Oh,
Tony
Phil was there.
I'll tell you, Tony brought it on, and it was completely selfish that he did so because he wanted me to get off of his back.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute.
In all honesty,
hang on. We need a backstory here. What are we talking about?
All right, I'll give you the backstory. So Tony, Phil, Jared, and Dean. So we were all getting together this weekend to go riding.
Who's Jared Dean?
Jared and Dean.
Oh, I thought you said Jaredine.
I'll start over.
Geritol.
A group of us were getting together this weekend, Percy, and we had.
Wait a minute, I can't hear. There's too much wind.
we had really high winds, and as you know, the Clockworks shields are terrible.
They
right?
are.
Because you just tried them all. So the only shield I have for my Sport Glide is the Clockwork shield, and it gives me really bad buffeting. So I was like, fuck this. I'm not going to use this thing today. Just take it off. And I was like, I'll just put the little fairing on without the shield because I'm sure it'll do something worthwhile. Well, that was a mistake because it took all the wind off of it put the wind right here on me.
Let the record show she's pointing to her boobs.
I'm not pointing. I have flat hands above my boobs. I'm making a shelf right here.
Making a shelf. I got a little shelf.
So it made it feel like my whole, it was horrible. It made my whole head, my whole helmet just lift up constantly. And it was so bad. I didn't even realize how bad it was until we
was
stopped.
very windy. It really was.
I told Jared, I was like, we got to figure something out because this is really terrible. So we just picked an exit and pulled off. And as soon as I started slowing down, I was like, oh my God, I got to take a break because this is horrible. It took us I was even driving under the speed limit, but it took us 40 minutes to get to Frankfurt, which shouldn't take that long, but.
Well, I can't guarantee yes or no, but there may be gusty winds by Uranus.
No, it should be fine once I have a shield.
You got to get
Over
that
here.
fixed before we go to Uranus.
I mean, I'm trying to.
You're gonna be on
it was
open
pretty bad.
stretches of farmland.
Oh, I know. I lived in Nebraska, the prairies.
When you hit,
There's
when
no
you hit
wind block anywhere.
When you get past Hoosier State Park and you're in Western Indiana, you're gonna wish you have that thing on if you don't.
Oh, I know. We actually we went to Harley today to see if they had any just throwaway shields that they'd be willing to give me, but
They're not going to give you any.
They don't have a lot of Sport Glides at our local Harley, so.
Yeah, the only thing they give out's fuckings.
Yeah, they give out free fuckings.
So how bad is that Clockwork shield that came on the bike that you're not using it? Is it worse than what you did what you experienced when you took it off?
I don't
It kind
know
of
if
looks like a skateboard ramp.
yeah,
That
it does.
one you took
actually.
off. Yeah.
Which
it's got a-
one do you have?
I don't know. It's just like a. I don't know if it's like a 6 or 7 inch maybe Clockworks one. It has that curve at the top.
Stop
You
it, Tony.
guys,
Stop it, Tony.
It's got that
It's
curve
got
to
a
the left.
curve. Does it curve to the left or curve to the
that
right?
curve.
curve straight up.
Been scooting around corners.
Oh my god.
Shooting around
Square
corners.
in the middle. I think I would have preferred to had the shield on because I've been dealing with buffeting on my head ever since I started riding, and
Lesson learned.
it sucks.
Are you a
It
bobblehead?
sucks, but I can live with it. But that was horrible.
So how big of a shield is Memphis sending?
I asked for a 7-inch.
7.
Ryan, you can't even get it.
You're right. Ryan's gone.
He's red as a
I'm not
fucking
sure
fire truck.
what height will be the best one.
Ryan's laughing so hard his hat turned around straight upside down.
In case any of you were wondering or didn't catch the whole part of that conversation, Dave says, "Are you a bobblehead?" And literally, the next thing out of Brittany's mouth was, "I asked for a 7-inch." I don't even know what to say to any of this. You can't make this shit up. It's just happening.
It's this is it. Behind the scenes, this can't make the podcast.
Every time you say that, it makes the podcast.
Well,
I
I'm,
know.
I'm certainly glad that we all know now that Brittany can't ride in the wind because it hurts her neck and she needs
Because
a
her head
7-inch
bobbles.
to get past it.
No, but like legit, because I know where you live, Ryan. You get serious fucking crosswinds, don't you?
Yep. For real, yep.
Because I mean, when Phil and I were riding back, I mean, literally, we were like at a 30-degree angle trying to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
straight. You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. And I will say that it's and I know that Dave experienced this when he rode across South Dakota too. And I will say a bigger, heavier bike does typically make crosswinds not as much of an issue because it's just harder to push the bike around. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, wind can be legitimate for a lot of people. And if you don't have, really what you need to do, Brittany, is you need the shield probably needs to be lower than it is, the one that you have. So it hits you right in your visor rather than the top of your head. Because if it's coming up and hitting the top of your head, that's why you're getting the bobblehead feeling.
Oh yeah,
If it hits your visor, you'd be okay, right? If
Yeah.
it's when you took the shield off, your fairing was probably hitting when the wind was hitting it. It was shooting right up into your neck, probably, and that's what
Oh,
was
yeah.
giving you that feeling of trying to pull your head off.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the rule, right? I mean, you've either got to take it straight to the face or over your head.
It's either got to be right in
Right?
the face or over the head.
Hell, what the fuck's wrong with you people? You know what I'm talking about.
Ryan is he's gone.
If you're capable of still getting that type of lift over your head,
Oh my god!
Happy birthday, Percy, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well,
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of these things.
oh my God.
I had a similar issue with my Sportster because my Sportster shield it's just not the right height, so it puts the air to where it hits like just below the top of my helmet, and I've had buffeting ever, you know what I mean, the whole time I've ridden that. As far as crosswinds, though, it's a lot better, obviously, on the Sport Glide because it's heavier and the center of gravity is a lot lower, so it didn't push me around as bad, but definitely still does push you sideways.
You got to lean.
I watched
Yep.
Phil tickle the white line. I thought he was gone.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
That the wind caught him so hard.
It was a lot.
Were you
Well,
guys
I will
riding
say,
on
I
a
mean-
road? The white line was going to take them off the road completely.
Yeah, I mean, we were going down. It was just Phil and I. And we were riding staggered, and we had like a tree line on the side of us. And then we broke through the tree line. The wind hit us, and he was on the right side of the lane. I was on the inside, the left side.
Yep.
And I mean, man, it blew him. I thought he was going off the road. I just watched him fucking start going. Then he fought it back in, but he was like he was sweating it after he recovered. He was like, oh my God. He goes, fuck the right side of the lane. I'm staying on the left. I was like, yeah, man, I'm not riding over there. It's fucking crosswind's terrible.
Well, I will say, was it last week we were talking about shields when I summed up my
Yeah.
experience with all the clockwork stuff.
Yep.
I did the other day pick up a Memphis Shades, and I know they're a sponsor, but it has no bearing on my experience. This thing's the bomb. I mean, I put it on the bike, and it immediately took care of all the problems I was having.
Let's talk about the fit. Did it fit perfectly?
It did. I mean, I
Amazing.
went with the 8.5 inch. When before I tried every one of the Clockwork Sport flares that they had, and a couple of the touring flares. But this, it did the number.
I mean, the Memphis Shade stuff, and like Percy said, I know they're a sponsor, but every time I've ever strapped any of that stuff on my bike, it fits perfectly, and the shit just works great.
Yeah, and I also put the handguards on, which.
Oh, how are those?
They're exactly what I thought. I mean, I had them on the Fat Bob. The problem, when I got the Road Glide was last year, they didn't fit the Road Glides when they switched to the cable clutch off the hydraulic. So they've got some new ones out that have been tweaked so that they fit with the cable clutch control. And came in handy. I know a lot of people use those because they talk about how it keeps the cold wind, when you're riding the cold off your hands. For me, the big benefit on those hand guards, and Ryan, I know you'll get it, is in the rain.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
yeah, I bet.
and you probably experienced this in South Dakota too. Is road debris.
Yep.
Yeah.
We get a lot of and Dustin too. Yeah, from the farm trucks, right? So even after they clean,
gravel trucks, yep.
even after they clean the roads around here, you still get a certain amount of sand that's left on the road. And that road debris kicks up, and those handguards just really, I mean, they take care of it completely. And I have been remarkably surprised by how many, if you ride at dusk a lot, how many bugs it also keeps off of you too. So yeah, I mean, those handguards are, and truly just to support what you said, Dave, that was my initial intent on getting them, was to keep the wind off my hands, because that does significantly reduce the the wind effect of when you're riding in the cold. But there's so many added benefits beyond that I didn't even consider beyond the wind. But they're great.
I mean, we've been caught, Volts and I've been caught in some hellacious storms riding. And there was a brief period when the weather warmed up, I think last year or year before last, where I took mine off the Fat Bob. We got caught in one of those storms. Dude, it took like 3 days for my gloves to dry out.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah, and for anybody that's wondering, the whole theory behind that is when you're moving forward, the rain's not going to be coming straight down and hitting your hands, and so it's going to hit that. It's going to hit that handguard and kind of spray off of your immediately where your hand is at. So
Well, I can tell
should be
you
able-
one thing: the rain goes right up your fucking pants.
Dude, you got to get gaiters, man. I
Yeah,
swear
I
to
got-
God, man. Those
I got me a
gaiters I
pair.
bought. Yeah, you got some, didn't you, Dustin? We
Jared
both
just
at the
bought
same time.
chaps, actually. I'm glad you guys
Oh,
brought
I'm not
chaps.
going. I'm not going the chaps route. I'm sorry.
I got frog togs. They're awesome.
He brought chaps for riding in the morning since it's been really cold.
Brian's a chat man, aren't you?
I did until I got heated gear, and I didn't wear my chaps. I don't think I wore them at all last year, to be honest with you.
He doesn't get a chapped ass though.
Ryan's too tall. I'm not. I'm not
the chapped
making fun
lips
of
you
Ryan.
got to worry
Chap.
about. They haven't made enough chapstick to cure that.
Call him
Yeah,
Bert
but you
Steve.
said you got the frog togs, right, Dustin?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's
Do you
a
like
frog
them a lot?
tog?
They're pretty much rain pants.
Rain
Do
prank.
they have the insulate like inside the leg where it's close to the pipes? Do you have one that's like insulated or whatever so that it doesn't melt? See, I know you can't ask any questions without you guys.
Well, you can't
laughing.
say, inside the pants next to the pipe.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't say that.
yeah. It's not dirty. It's not
This
dirty
is-
until you actually say the words. Then it is. Totally.
This is what my great contribution to the podcast is, that I will always just say these words and it won't occur to me until later how bad it sounded.
There you go.
The
So
frog
does it
togs-
have a heat shield on the pants? Is
No,
that what
these aren't necessarily motorcycle rain pants. They're pretty much multi-purpose, so you can wear them if you go out, like say you go out early in the morning, you hunt or you do something where there's gonna be lots of dew on the grass if the grass is long, or if you're riding a bike, they'll just go right over the pants you're wearing, and they worked great for the.
But they don't
for
cover your
FPVM.
boots, right?
They go up over the top of my boots. They're long enough.
No, do they? I mean, they cover the bottom of your boots, or like the
They
toe,
should.
the toe
No.
box and everything. Yeah.
No.
See, that's where the gaiters come in.
Yeah.
And those gaiters I bought when we went down to FDBM, those are the bomb, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
For
those
sure.
ones.
Dave, do you
I
wear
bought a different brand than you. I bought some fly racing ones that I have to keep in my
It's
saddlebags.
because you're a fly girl.
Yep, fly.
Dave, do you wear?
They
do
were
you
cheaper.
Wear, do you wear boots that are waterproof though?
Yeah, but they're not. I mean,
Okay.
I've experienced the same thing.
There's waterproof boots, but it doesn't matter. I mean, when you're caught in a torrential storm, they're going
Right.
to get wet. But those gaiters that I had that I wore down to FDBM, dude, those were amazing.
See-
Even, I had rain pants on, but they went, they came up to like my knee.
I don't have. So when I wear rain pants, I have hard lowers on my bike, so I can tuck my feet underneath the lowers, and I don't get any rain at all.
And my lower doesn't get hard
Good
very
for
often
you.
anymore.
I was thinking about Ryan, I was thinking about getting some soft lowers.
I was looking at that too, actually.
You know what? The
Just
soft
wait.
lowers.
Just wait till you get older.
There you
Have all
go.
the soft lowers. all the lowers are soft.
Lowers are soft all the time. They're never
Yeah.
hard anymore.
And your
Just wait
pants
till
are
you get
always
older.
wet.
That the whole reason I even got hard lowers on my bike is because I got the soft lowers, and I liked the wind protection so much. That's why I went with the hard lowers. I just never took the soft lowers off because of how effective they were. I mean, there's so much wind fatigue that you don't feel on your lower leg with them on, and yeah, that's why I changed. I
Well,
mean,
remember, you and I were at Ted's a couple of years ago, trying to find soft lowers for my Fat Bob.
Yep. Yeah, they make a huge difference in long distance riding and to handle wind fatigue. I think that's why I have them.
I would.
I mean, I
pick
think they look good on my bike too, but that's why I run them.
I'd pick a set of those up, but I don't know anybody that makes them for the Road Glide special with the
With the
chopped,
smaller bar.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
chopped engine guard.
I don't know that they do either.
I don't want the hard ones, so I don't think they make those either.
Not for the small engine guard. You have to have the large engine guard on there.
Man, every
Well,
time
whoever's
you small
listening,
one,
they need
you
to
know?
start making some. Maybe that's
I
something
think-
Memphis Shades can start making.
I think you might get a little bit of wind protection when you get that.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that
You're-
spoiler, the fairing spoiler.
Yep. Not a lot, but you're going to get a little of it for
I
sure.
think it'll deflect it because I do still have wind coming up from the bottom.
Yep.
But it's not. I mean, it's not that bad.
Yeah. It'll
Messes
deflect
with my
some of it,
mic.
for
It causes some pop sometimes in my mic.
Oh, sure.
If I'm doing like 80 or 70.
Sure. So, what other road conditions would we say, or weather conditions would we say are shitty that people would or would not want to ride in?
Snow.
Yeah.
That's a fucking
Salty
given.
roads.
But
Yeah.
people do it.
Yeah, I saw a guy riding today. In fact, up
Riding
here,
in
riding
the
today.
snow and cold it's not any fun. So why do it? Just
Cold, I can deal with cold. I just
I can
can't
deal
deal
with
with
cold.
snow.
Yeah.
Fuck the
Snow
cold.
and ice, I don't fuck with.
Yeah, snow and ice, I'm out.
No.
I mean, I have enough trouble in my truck.
I'll go out if
Well,
it's,
I mean-
I'll go out if
motorcycle.
it's like flurrying or something. I'll go out if I know it's not going to accumulate. But I'm not going to
Well,
go
that's-
out there if there's 3 inches of snow on the ground. Let's go ride.
Right. If the roads are clear, I suppose you could still ride, but I get too cold. I wouldn't.
I do.
So
too. I can't.
let me ask you guys this, because we're all going to be making a trip away from where we
Yeah.
are, except Tony. He'll be trailering so he can bring all the stuff down. I'm not
Well, at this
criticizing
point-
this time because he's bringing
At
the
this
stuff.
point, I might be able to just fit it in a backpack. 'Cause we don't have a lot of shit yet.
Right. So let's say that it's a torrential downpour when it's time to go,
Oh,
to
I'll be thinking
FDBM.
about you all
right?
in the truck.
So
I honestly don't know what I will. I mean, I'm trying to be prepared for that because I'm committed to the trip, but I don't have proper rain gear. at
Dude,
this
get on
point.
your bike and go. I raced a fucking hurricane to get down to FDBM in
you
September.
did, didn't you?
Well, that's what I'm
I
saying.
did.
Like, once you're
wasn't
going,
like
you're going.
racing parallel to it. I was going into the face of it. You know, little rain ain't gonna hurt you.
No, if
He
it's
said-
like, if it's
he
like
said
what I
downpour.
experienced on the way back from Kentucky a few years back, that's not a problem for me. But if you're talking like April is tornado season here,
right.
I'm not fucking with that because the last time
Man, you can't fuck with the twister, dude.
the last time I didn't trust the weather with the weatherman, we got fucking nailed.
Tornadoes,
like
no joke.
Every time I hear thunder, I'm just turning my head. Just
You're snake bit now. You're like,
Uh,
God damn it.
dude,
fucking twister.
it'll change a person.
Hell yeah,
So-
dude.
So, but the idea, but what you're saying though is essentially, you guys would all ride in the rain, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tony.
I mean, I'll ride in the rain. I've done it. I've had to. You know what I mean? I've been out caught in it where I've had to fucking do it.
Right.
But like, if I'm sitting in my house and I'm not going anywhere and,
Right.
and it's raining and somebody goes, "You want to ride?" Fuck no. I don't want to ride.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But when you got a trip, you got somewhere to go, you got a plan. Rain can't keep you. off
You
the
would
road,
tough it,
man.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean, if
definitely.
I couldn't
Even if it's not
see-
raining. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brittany.
It's okay. I was gonna say if I couldn't see, like if it was a visibility thing where it's raining so hard that I like cannot safely drive,
You gotta
then
pull
I'm gonna
over.
be stopping. But if it just starts raining and you're in the midst of going on your trip, then you're just gonna have to make the most of it.
Well, fuck, you
thing
don't have a
that's-
shield, man. If it's sprinkling, you can't see right now.
The
You're-
I
thing
should
that
have
sucks
one
about
by
rain is like the first 20 minutes. It's getting wet is what
Right.
sucks. Once when you're wet, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah, you're already soaked.
You're already soaked and you're rolling. But that first like 20 minutes when you're riding and shit starts getting soaked and you're like, motherfucker, now it's in my ass crack. Now it's my balls. You know what I mean? Now my socks are wet. But once when everything's wet, you're like, fuck it, let's just keep going. But that initial drenching is what sucks.
Or you get a rain gear, get a rain suit and some gaiters, and you don't have to worry about it.
I
I
was
could
just
stop and
looking
get a
at
box of
overpants.
tampons too, but I'm not going to do that.
What are tampons gonna do for you?
At least his butthole will be dry.
Keep
Yeah,
that.
keep his butthole
keep
dry.
your
Extra absorbent.
ass seepage.
So
You put them in your ears, you put them everywhere.
Yeah.
You keep
They
it nose.
they use them in the
shit dry.
military for wounds. Actually, that's
They
a
have,
real
yeah.
thing
so
because they
Brit-
work good for that.
Brittany just
Those
reminded
things
me.
get wet and they look like this can.
Is that a tuna can?
Do we need to do a
But, I mean,
science
the sons of
experiment
bitches
next
blow
week?
up this big. No wonder you all complain of cramps.
That's not what the cramps come from.
So Brittany reminded me of another condition that's not as common, but I've actually been caught in it. She said visibility. What about fog? Have you guys ridden in fog before?
Yeah,
I've never
I-
been caught in the fog, dude.
I don't know if
Thick
I
fog.
have.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have, and it's concerning because we have lots of like private roads that are just off these highways, and you're not going to see if there's a car there or if it pulls out in front of you until you're right up on it.
Right.
And plus, the fog adds moisture
Yep.
in the atmosphere, so you're getting it all over your visor, and you're constantly wiping it off because it's so thick and dense, and visibility's kind of fucked.
Yeah. So
Thick and
Dave, what
dense.
was your experience riding in the fog?
We hit it a lot, but West Virginia, up in the mountains, it can get pretty bad. And last year, Volts and I were up with Blackline. We were up in the mountains, and we hit that line, crossed that line where the fog had rolled in, and you couldn't see 3 feet in front of you. And then the temperature dropped to like 30, whatever. So
Right.
then you got to deal with with that issue and potentially freezing on the road.
Did you guys drive through it, or did you stop and pull over and wait for
No,
it?
we couldn't. We didn't even know. Didn't know it was safe to make a U-turn. Man, we're on a fucking mountain.
Okay.
we just kept going until we got to the top and got up over the fog.
Sure. So I
It
was
was a tough 40 minutes though.
I was caught in fog on the way in 2019, actually, on the way down to the very first MMM, and we pulled over because we went from a perfectly sunny day to maybe 2 feet or a foot of visibility. And my concern with that is not my inability. It's if I've regulated my speed where I'm comfortable, but somebody behind me decides they're okay going 80, and they come up right on me, and I don't have full car taillights, right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden they're jamming right up your ass. That's
Nobody wants a Buick up your ass.
that's the thing
never a
with
good feeling.
any weather condition, even perfect weather. But if you're dealing with any type of inclement weather, man, to me that's always the number one issue, right? It's not you so much; it's the other
It's
guy.
people. Fuck, they
Yeah.
can't see you now. In the fucking daylight,
that's what I was
with
gonna
the
say,
horn,
yeah.
they can't fucking see you.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
So-
I think this gets to the point, though, when you talk about motorcycling and you talk about trips or just getting out and being in the world on your motorcycle. When we've all said this, I think we've said it multiple times on the podcast. You say you have to earn these things, right? When you go on a long trip and you make your first 300, 400, 500, 600 mile an hour day or 600 mile day, you've earned it. Part of it is that you've probably driven through some conditions that you're not perfectly comfortable with.
Yeah, it's experience. It's like a tattoo, man. You earn a tattoo.
Absolutely. There's nothing about it that's fun.
No, there's nothing about the whole process. The whole process sucks. You earn it.
The
But
funnest
I'll
part
tell
is
you
when
what,
it's healed.
though. We went out Saturday, and with the 55 fucking mile an hour wind gust, it was a better day out on the bike than it would have been sitting at home.
That's
There you
all
go.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It was a really good day, actually.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
It was
Well, I
windy
just
as
thought
shit,
of
though.
another one, but it's not weather related, but just conditions in general. Like one thing I'm not very comfortable with is
Is
gravel.
having gas. Well, that gravel will fuck you up.
I'm
I'll tell you what else will
And
fuck you up are wet leaves in the fall.
Wet leaves,
Yep.
grass on the road would be bad. But yeah, I went back and watched. You guys been telling me the story from the
Oh, did you watch it?
road that you had to drive down. Went back and watched it, and like that would be terrifying.
No, that
video doesn't
that son
show
of a bitch
the-
looks like a fucking expressway
Yeah.
compared to what it really looks like.
Yeah, but that's another one where if you haven't practiced or you're not comfortable, like
I
that
hate gravel.
can really
and
get
I'm
to
and
you.
I'm going to go on record right now. If we get to Uranus and that Airbnb's got gravel, I'll be at the hotel down the road.
I think it'll be fine. It might have a small stretch like off the highway to the driveway, but the driveway should all be paved.
You just can't hit the brakes.
Right.
No,
You
It
gotta
does
stay
seem
off
like
you
the
just have to
brakes.
go with it.
Careful.
we could
Yeah.
get into that garage too. We can all park our bikes in there, right? In case the
think so,
weather is
yeah.
bad.
I'm not going up a gravel road to get to a paved
I think-
driveway.
We can ask him. I'll have Jared
The
double check
gravel.
it. I'll have Jared double
Tony
check
was
it.
mentioning, Brittany said leaves, or Brittany said gravel, and Tony said leaves, and I think that gets to in those conditions too. It really gets back to your emergency training. Like, what are you good at and not good at on your bike when it comes to situations like that? Because if you get yourself in any emergency situation, car pulls out in front of you, and you grab a handful of front brake, you've now become the emergency situation.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what else will fuck you up is a turtle.
A turtle?
A fucking turtle.
You run over a turtle?
I hit a fucking turtle
Turtles
son of
by
a
his
bitch.
house, man.
right there by my house coming around the corner, right? I hit this fucking turtle. He shot out of the fucking wheel like a 45. You know what I mean? Just ricocheted off the fucking wheel. And the front of the bike was, I mean, if I would have been at speed, I think I might have been fucked. You know what I mean? I was going
Yeah,
slow
I mean
enough.
that's another thing too. Dead animal carcasses in the road.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or near the road that smells so fucking bad, you're gonna puke in your helmet.
In your helmet.
It cause problems with the riding
I've
buddies.
never experienced
Yeah.
that.
Dustin did here in Kentucky. That was a
Oh, that
fucking ripe
that
critter,
was
dude.
That was the worst
Dang.
most foul smelling shit I've ever sniffed.
Where were we when that happened? Because I remember that.
I don't remember where it was.
That was the ride. Was it when we were when it was? Let's see, the four of us riding from Louisville to Kingfish.
Were we going to Kingfish, right?
I think
I
that's
think
right.
it was the ride to Kingfish because we were in. I remember we were in a grove of trees,
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it was before we got to that park where we pulled off, I think.
and
Yeah.
Dustin's microphone was working because he was like,
No, dude, I saw the vultures. I'm like, oh god, what's this up
Oh,
here?
that's
And
right.
They
That
were they
big
were
ass,
just
that
chewing on this
huge-
big deer.
that
or whatever.
huge vulture we thought was going to pick up Tony.
And they
Yeah,
always
we
go
did.
for the ass.
"Oh yeah, that thing, who did it almost
He's
hit?
gonna
It
take
went-
off with Tony up the
It flew
tree.
up in the air. It almost hit somebody in the helmet too. Who did it
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
hit?
I think that was
Must have
Tony.
been
wasn't it?
Tony.
Yeah, it was me. That fucking bird almost
yeah.
took me out, dude.
That's
I
right.
was like,
yeah.
God damn, we see little Tony's legs kicking up in the air.
Him
Son
on
of a
the
bitch
bike
was going to
was
eat
with-
my ass out. That's what they do, those fuckers. They go for the ass first.
Rename them ass eaters instead of vultures.
Oh.
Dude, they got those dead deer. You look at it, ass is completely gone when they fly off. Some bitch ass looks like a fucking moon crater.
Next time Brittany drives by a deer, she's looking straight at the ass. You watch. Can't get
You
that out
can't.
of
The
your
ass
head.
is gone. They ate it.
That wasn't the
It's
first
the path
time.
of
I-
least resistance.
I beg to differ.
guess.
I don't think that's true.
If you're a dead animal, the ass is the path of least resistance.
I think it might be the path of most resistance. Just saying.
It is if you're alive.
If you're alive, it definitely is. That some bitch will tighten up like a dog. You fart and sound like a dog whistle.
Yeah, but when I think back on it, that wasn't the first time I've smelled rotting deer carcass because I went on a ride with the Unhinged guys and we were in between. It was between the first and second stop, and it was off the side of the road. And all of a sudden, that shit went straight into the vent of. I got a mouthful of that shit. It was,
that's not good.
you could taste the air.
That's not good.
You can taste it.
You
Tastes
can
like
taste-
ketchup and onions.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
So have any of you actually been caught in any flurries or snow at all?
No.
No, man.
No.
I'm not
Very-
riding out in those that fucking cold.
Yeah, very, very light. Very light. It's on the Fat Bob. I think it was the first year I had it. Because I'll
Well-
ride. I mean, if it's like 33, 34, I'll ride.
You'll ride in the 30s.
I'll commute, yeah. I
It's
don't
pretty
care.
miserable in the 30s when
See,
you're out there on that fucking bike.
The only thing miserable is like being in a car. You know, when
Yeah, we talked about this
when you could be
before.
on a motorcycle. You know,
I like a heater, man, in the winter. I'm a big fan of the heat.
so I've got a short commute, right? I only go like 8 miles. I don't have to
That's-
go.
Oh,
me.
that's
I
way
don't-
different then.
Yeah, I don't ride like an hour and a half each way to work, but yeah. So coming back one night, I had to leave the office because I looked out the window and the snow was coming down.
Sure. I didn't get caught in flurries, but I rode to work one day, and it snowed right after I got to work, and then it, like the flurry went away, sun came out, everything melted. So when I went home that day, it was actually significantly warmer and the roads are dry. But I had made it to work just before the flurry started. So even living up here, I've not ridden in like flurries, but I've ridden much colder. I've ridden down to I think 21 without the wind chill was the
Why
coldest
would you
I've
do
ridden.
that?
Because when you haven't been on your bike since October and the
Well,
snow
you gotta-
melts and
okay, all right.
everything's ready to go and it's sunny, but it's just 21, you put your heated gear on and you ride.
I mean, so this is a legit question. At 21, does the
Yep.
heated gear keep you warm, or does it just keep you from fucking freezing to death?
It keeps me warm, dude. I in fact, most of the time when I wear the heated gear, I wear literally just my jeans and a t-shirt and just socks and boots. That's all I wear underneath it.
And it'll keep
Because-
you warm in the 20s.
Yeah, because the coat itself is a great windbreaker, and it has 4 heat settings on it. So I turn it on to the hottest setting, and it keeps me keeps me warm because I have, the heat is gloves, pants, and jacket. And the gloves are the, fingers all the way up to my wrist. The jacket is all the way up the arms, across the chest, and across my back. And the pants are all, your thighs and your butt. So the only area that's not getting heat is the front of my legs, and the soft lowers kind of takes care of that.
What
Or the
about
hard lowers
your
take care of that. So what's that?
What
Yeah,
about
there's
your
heat.
gooch?
There's heat on the butt of the pants. So yeah, dude.
So is there a heated seat?
You can buy heated
they've
seats,
got
yeah.
heated seats.
Do they
yeah.
have heated seats?
Yep.
Yeah, Mustang has them. Harley has them. I think LaPera.
I think that the Honda, what's that big Honda touring bike? I don't know Hondas, but Goldwing.
The Accord.
The Accord, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Goldwing, I think there's an option for a heated and cooled seat on that
Yeah.
fucking thing.
That
Yeah.
speaking
Saddleman has a heated and cooled seat.
speaking of that, I was watching a video on that BMW R18.
Yeah.
Has
Why-
reverse. Fuck
yeah.
that bike.
Yeah.
Fuck that
Yeah.
bike. It has, reverse. It has a reverse.
Nope. That's not a
Nope.
motorcycle with
No.
reverse.
Hmm.
I
So
have reverse
Ryan-
on my bike too. I use my legs and I push myself backwards.
Duck walk the bitch fuck out of that that big ass bastard.
So Ryan, I don't have all the heated gear like you do, but I did
Yeah.
a few weeks ago buy that Gerbing vest liner
Yep.
with a couple of batteries, and
Yep.
I totally get where you're coming from because I am shocked at how that will not just take the chill off, but I've actually had to open up my jacket.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
'Cause
it changed it changed everything for me. I am perfectly, I mean, when I was riding and it was 21 degrees, I rode Tony that day probably 140, 150 miles and it was 21 degrees. And it was probably a 30-mile-an-hour wind. I bet
So
I
if
think it
you
was
get
about,
too hot, can you unzip your fly and get a breeze?
you could, yep. I just turn the heat down if it gets too hot. There's buttons on everything.
That's-
There's a
that's
button
more
on the
smarter.
jacket, a button on the pants, and a button on the gloves. You turn it down till you cool off. Because actually what you don't want to do is you don't want to start sweating because then
That's
Right.
bad. Yeah.
you could get moisture
Yeah.
buildup and then you could possibly get
And
cold,
you could
but
short circuit and fucking shock your
electrocute
nuts
yourself.
out.
Yeah.
never freeze
Yeah.
off.
I don't know. He's dude
I'm
started
so-
sweating, had on heated pants, and
Yeah,
blew
I'm
his
so
dick off.
sold. I'm so sold on heated gear that if my heated gear goes bad, I will immediately order more heated gear because I'm sold on it. I absolutely love it. It changed everything for me because I can ride much sooner in the year and I can ride much later in the year and I don't feel like a Stay Puft Marshmallow,
Yeah.
wearing 47 layers of gear. Because I can just put jeans and a t-shirt on and throw my heated gear on, and that's all I need, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm probably going to wait till the weather gets warm and check to see if they have any of that stuff goes on sale. But
Yeah, that's a
I'm,
good idea.
That's a good
I'm definitely
time.
going to buy some more,
The
some more stuff.
so if you guys want to do the stuff that I have, it's up, totally up to you. But it almost always goes on sale. Field Share almost always puts it on sale at least once a month. I see a sale on it. So.
Really?
Yep. And typically you can get a sale where you can get $50 to $75 off the jacket and the pants. Gloves is a little bit
Well,
less
and it
off,
would be
but-
it'd be worth it to, even if you didn't get a full set, like just pick a jacket or pants just for
and
to
yeah, and the
start
stuff,
out with, and you'd still be warmer. I mean,
Yeah,
I can
this-
attest to the grips because my Sport Glide has heated grips on it.
Yep.
Yep.
So I've been using those, and I mean, I think gloves might be a little better because I guess you can answer this. Does it heat on the top of your hands, Ryan?
It does, and the reason for that is that that's where the wind is going to be hitting your hands is on the top,
Right.
and you really don't want heated gear between your hand or heated grip between your hand and your where you're holding onto your bike, because if for some reason that were to get too hot, then where you're supposed to be holding onto your bike, you're not going to be holding onto your grips as tightly as you normally would, or as
Right.
comfortable. I shouldn't say tightly, as comfortably as you should. And so really those heated gloves are just taking that wind that's hitting the top of your hand and preventing it from getting cold. Because even like, well, I'll give you an example. So Odin's gloves that they're gauntlet gloves that I bought 2 years ago, they had, I think it was 75 millimeters of Thinsulate material in the inside of the glove. And that's what they called their winter gloves. And I actually did a review on them, and I said my only complaint about the gloves is that they were calling them their winter gloves, and I didn't feel like they were because I didn't think the Thinsulate was nearly thick enough. And ironically enough, they sent me a message back just a few months ago and said, "Hey, thanks for your review. We really like what you said there. Just to let you know, our new winter gloves have 200 millimeters of Thinsulate in them because they recognize that they really weren't warm enough for cold weather conditions." And so that makes a big difference.
You know, this heated gear stuff's pretty damn complicated. We should try to have one of the manufacturers on.
Yeah,
should.
to
Hey,
talk
that's a
about
good
that.
idea,
You know,
yeah.
because I mean, there's a lot of when I started looking at it. You know, of course, I didn't want to spend any money because I don't have all the monies like Ryan does on spend on heated gear. But you know, I mean, just do you go with battery or do you go with stuff plugged in?
So
Right. Yeah.
and
Do you go with a liner? Do you go with a jacket? It's complicated.
Yep, and I got what I got was a 12-volt system, and which the 12-volt system is you can either plug it into your bike and get all day heat at whatever heat setting you want, or when I get off my bike, then I have the battery packs and I can plug in my jacket and gloves and have and I think with the battery packs they say it's up to 6 or 8 hours of heat, but that's
Yeah.
typically at the lowest heat setting.
Yeah,
so
it
I think
is.
yeah.
So with my gear, it's kind of multi-purpose. Now, I had that trip down to Scott City for Leo's memorial, and I knew it was going to be cold, so I was hurrying like I could to stock up on heated gear. I didn't buy solely motorcycle heated gear. I bought something I could practically wear if I wanted to, if it was real cold outside, if I was doing something like I shoveled snow not too long ago, wore this heated hoodie. It did a great job. But they're all battery pack powered. You can't plug them into a motorcycle. So you have to rely on battery, like your power pack battery life to keep you warm on these trips. And I think by the time I got down to Scott City, which that was between 3 and 4 hour ride in 31 degrees for the most part with no sun, I think my battery in my gloves died on the high set because they were on the high setting for 3 hours. So I had to recharge them a little bit at a gas station. And then I charged them during the event so that I had them on the way home, and they ended up dying on me again, probably 45 minutes from home. So you got to kind of weigh the pros and cons. So you could save a little money. I mean, I still spent north of $300 on gloves, pants, and a heated hoodie, but I looked at it like I can wear this more than just on the bike. So it just made more sense to me to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff works.
It does. It kept me real warm.
But I mean, we've been talking about like different conditions and what you can do to adapt or whatever. I mean, one of the things that I'm kind of digging right now with the new Road Glide is having the RDRS. And I know that's a little controversial, right? Because you've got the
Doesn't a penicillin shot clear that up?
yeah, rider aids. And you got the big beef wiener eaters that, are like, oh, that's not really riding a motorcycle or whatever. But, I'm anxious to kind of try some of this stuff out because I think any kind of tech that you have on the bike that you can leverage when you get caught in these conditions, is something that, why not take advantage of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the shit's legit. Like the hill assist makes perfect sense on a.
Oh,
That
I would
hill
love
assist,
to have that.
because I've used the hell out of that hill assist already.
Yeah.
And my bike's not even loaded yet,
Yeah, no, for
But-
a bike that
Oh,
heavy
that
and
thing's amazing.
loaded down, the hill assist makes perfect fucking sense. And I'm a huge fan of anti-lock brakes. I think
Yep.
it's just safer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bottom line.
But the one thing, and until I started doing research into the Road Glide, I really didn't know much about it. But the touring models have the linked brakes, which is unbelievable. I mean, I've already felt those come into play. So if you grab too much front, it's going to apply rear to even it out. Like I said, I've already kind of felt that happen. But just the confidence that you get from knowing, that you've got that going on. Plus, with the new front suspension that I put in, my bike doesn't dive. I mean, I've gripped pretty hard on the front a couple of times, and everything's.
You don't want your hand to
No, right.
slip.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful.
Might break
I
your
set
fingers.
myself up. God damn it, Brittany. You jinx me, Brittany. You jinx me. But yeah, but you grab too much front brake. The link brakes even you out. You got the suspension in there to keep you from diving and stuff. And to me, that's all good stuff.
Well, I want to say too, like regarding technology, there are a lot of other things on the bikes that are actually technology. It's just not new to us. Like when you I'm sorry, I'm going to go all engineer on you for a second because there's a
How
lot
many
of
plies
stuff.
does it have?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that like several years ago you wouldn't have seen, and nobody would have thought about it.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like just these electronic things that are new that are technology. There's other stuff that's on your bike that's still technology that we didn't have, however many
100%.
years ago.
Fuck, push button start.
Yeah, I mean that's a great example.
Tony, you're with me. You're old enough to remember
Yeah.
trying to kickstart a goddamn bike that wouldn't start.
Yep.
I mean, how many people really want to do the kickstart? So there's lots of things that it's new now, but it's still a great change to the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Is there anything? Do you guys believe there's any such thing as too much technology on a bike? I know we've probably talked about this before. I think we have, but
See, this is where I'm at with the tech on the bike. I think if you're starting out, you need to learn to ride a motorcycle with nothing. You don't need anything on there. You need to learn to ride the bike, just a fucking 2 wheels and a motor.
that's why I
Learn
thought
how to do that.
That's why I
and
do
then
think,
add the tech in.
That's why I think
But,
the
like, what
Sportster was a
about-
good starter bike.
Yeah.
What about like the ABS and stuff though? Because those are things like
ABS
even-
is legit, man.
so I'm going to
ABS
go
is legit.
off rail just a little bit because just driving in general, like if you're driving a car that doesn't have ABS, I mean some of those technologies that we add, it truly makes everyone safer, whether you're good at the technical skills of a motorcycle
But
or a
what
car.
happens if you learn to ride an ABS bike and you get on a bike that doesn't have ABS and you get into a brake skid
Don't
and
do
you
it.
don't know what to do because
I
you've
mean,
never
but-
had to do it?
But you can
Yeah,
argue
but
that either way because, like, my parents, I have family members that grew up without ABS. Then they get in an ABS car and they don't even drive it correctly. They don't use the brakes correctly and they screw themselves over anyway.
Yeah.
So you can't, like,
I'm gonna-
it's not a
I'm
fair
gonna-
argument.
I'm going to make my point with this. I have 2 kids that drive and one that's getting ready to drive. And if you put them in a fucking manual car, they can't drive it. I rest my case.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's different, though.
Times have changed, though, dude. I mean, but I get where you're coming from for sure.
Learn the basics and then rely on technology.
Did I ever tell you about the
That's
time
my
I
thought.
But
did I
are
ever
they
tell you
really
about the
going to
time-
do that? I mean, if you are you going to get your kid put him on a stripped down Sportster or
Put him on
metric
that
that doesn't
fucking
have all that?
1970 Honda out there. You figure that motherfucker out, you can ride anything.
Did I ever tell you
Sorry,
about the
Dustin.
time where I learned to ride a stick? No jokes. No joke.
No, Dustin.
No, we would like to hear that story, Dustin. What was his name?
Were you on top?
Hi, Bob.
Sorry, I said nothing.
Reverse.
That's right,
cowboy.
Bob.
Oh,
No,
God.
go ahead, Dustin, please. We want to hear your story of the stick.
No, I was like 19 and I had never ridden a
At least
stick
it was
shift.
legal.
I've
Yeah.
heard this story before. I was a young man lost in New York City.
Hey, can you all get me
And this
dressed
guy-
in
and this
Crenshaw, man?
This guy said, "Hi, Bob."
I just wanted a cup of coffee and a Danish.
What the fuck's a Danish for? Turn that Danish into a donut.
Go ahead, tell your story, man.
Well, real quick, I was reading water meters for the city, and all the other guys in the city water department had all the other automatic trucks. So like, just take that old truck. So I get in there, I'm like, fuck.
Can't drive it.
So I learned in like 20 minutes out on the country roads. It's got to do it.
Well, that story in New York
I-
City sounded better.
Yeah, the New York story was better. That's how they made donuts. That's when the donut was made. You fuckers.
I think fucking technology is great, and I think it's safe and it adds benefits. But I still believe that you need to learn the basics.
Yeah, but I mean, the context here, though, is technology that's available for you to use when you get into these weird, road conditions.
I'm just curious.
And remember, I'm talking about RDRS. I'm talking about Harley. There is no such thing as too much tech when it comes to Harley. So this is like the bare stripped down shit you're going to get. But you guys are all on Softails, right? And I'm just telling you, it's a really cool thing to have available. And to feel that stuff kind of kick in, when you have it.
Ryan was born with RDF.
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Everybody, that's going to do it for our Bad Riding Conditions podcast. If you have any bad riding conditions that you've ridden in that you want to talk about, let us know on social media at 5 Dirty Bikers. We are on Tony's favorite TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys next week. Keep it dirty.
I'm going to watch Das Uberstinkers TikTok.
Oh, God.
Heard he's got an OnlyFans, too.
Bye-bye.